Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just going to do a quick review of season 10, episode 1 for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So we start the season off with an introduction of Yandy and Mendeecees. So they have moved from New York to Atlanta, looking for a fresh start, a new beginning for Mendeecees. We learned that Yandy's father doesn't live too far away from them, and Yandy's good friend also moved down with her. I am going to try my best not to be too critical right now in their first episode, given that I've followed Yandy and Mendeecees from the Atlanta series. And we all know that they never got married, and we all know that Mendeecees said that he wouldn't know if he would hold her down if the situation was reversed and she was in prison and he was out free. So I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm just going to put it out there, but I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm going to see how this play along. Yandy is sharing with us that she is a part of a 1-year anniversary for Breonna Taylor. Again, I'm gonna watch how this plays out in the season. I hope the activism part doesn't overshadow the show, the season, similar to what it did for Real Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine. But I'm just gonna put a pin on it for now and see what it looks like. We're introduced to a new character, young baby Tate. Not much is said. We see her out with a group of friends. They seem authentic. She tells us that she's an only child, so I guess friendship is really important to her. And like I mentioned, those young ladies seem authentic. She's also mentioned that her mom is a Grammy-winning artist, Dion Ferris. I'm just looking at my notes here, and she's trying to mimic a path similar to her mom. So it'll be interesting to see what this look like for young baby Tate. In the next scene, we're introduced to Erica, Sierra, and Bambi meeting up for drinks. Bambi explained to us how baby number 3 came. Her and Scrappy were like totally drunk when they were away. I guess, from having 2 kids and back to back. I know their kids are back to back, so Bambi probably wasn't drinking for a while, and then boom, here's baby number 3. But we learn from Erica and Bambi that they're kind of experiencing the same struggles while married and pregnant, losing their identity. Marriage is hard, difficult, and struggles of being pregnant and their husbands still require the same kind of attention. So it's interesting to see them feeling like that already, especially for Erica, because they've only been married for a year. But we'll see more of these couples to kind of understand the dynamics of what's going on in their relationship. We're then reintroduced to Kirk and Rashida. Not much goes on. They're just letting us know that they're trying to spend more time together, quality time, and making time for themselves, because it's either the business or the kids. So they're trying to refocus, rebalance, and put themselves first in their marriage. Kirk and Rashida have always given the image of a struggle marriage. So let's see if this changes in this new season. Hopefully something better comes out of it for Kirk and Rashida. Not much camera time so far in the first episode. Just as an overall recap, just not the same amount of camera time as usual. Obviously, it looks like the focus is going to be definitely on Yandy, Safari and Erica, and Scrappy and Bambi. So moving along to another segment here, we have Sierra she's met up with a group of girls as well, her friends, her girlfriends, and they're talking about why she ended the engagement with BK. She didn't feel that she was ready. She thought it was a toxic relationship. She thinks she kind of rushed into accepting the marriage proposal. And a few days later, she broke off the engagement because she didn't feel like she was ready for it. And the experiences that she's had with him in the past cheating. So kudos to Sierra. If you don't think you're ready to be married, then you should be honest and say it up front rather than getting married and feeling that you're trapped in something and not knowing what to do to get out. We're also introduced to Sierra dating someone new. I think his name is Eric. I'm just going over my notes here as well. So as quickly as she broke up with BK, then she jumped into a new relationship with Eric. Sierra should have taken some time to, I guess, just get to know herself. Like before she met BK, she was just coming out of a messy divorce with her husband of 8 years, whom had cheated on her. So I don't think she healed from that personally before she went into the relationship with BK. And then she accepted his proposal to now, calling off the engagement and now in a new relationship. I think sometimes women, we need to give ourselves some time, a breather, probably to find ourselves, take time out to nurture ourselves first before jumping between relationships. I mean, it's okay to be alone. It's okay to take time for yourself and to be alone and to see what you like and don't like and have that experience, as opposed to always being in a relationship and not having the time to find yourself. So we'll see what happens with that. We find ourselves back again with Jock and Yandy. So just a brief introduction. They're again discussing Breonna Taylor, the rally that's upcoming. Yandy kind of sharing, that she's kind of happy that she moved to Atlanta. She has a good circle. Nothing much there. So we'll move on to the next segment. They actually did make me chuckle. Scrappy and Safari. Scrappy and Safari reminds me of Ray J. And why I say they remind me of Ray J is that they want to be married, the image of marriage, or like being married on paper, but would like to stay single and continue to do what they were doing prior to getting married or being married, and just still having a young mentality, just immature, just totally immature, and not ready to let go that part of themselves where it's not about them, it's about the person that they're with. But like I said, Scrappy and Safari, they made me chuckle when they were looking in the mirror and they were repeating back to themselves the things that their wives do that bother them. So if you do watch it, that scene was a little funny. With Safari and Scrappy, I understand from Safari that, he is kind of happy to have another male that's married who can understand what he's going through. Safari and Erica, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, are they doing what they're doing because it's the truth, or they're on Twitter because that's truth? Even though Safari said Twitter is not real life, but you always have to wonder whether or not they're putting on for the camera, because they both like being in front of the camera. They both like the attention. So you never know with them if they're being their authentic self or if this is just a put on. But nonetheless, he was sharing with Safari that, he didn't realize how difficult it was having a baby, or how it changes or alters your life. And you know what? It does. And I don't think anyone can really prepare you for it. They can let you know, but once that baby is there and you gotta wake up at 1, 3, 4, and you gotta be up at 5 in the morning on a Saturday morning, and everything that comes with juggling a newborn, it's really challenging. It's absolutely really challenging, and it changes your life. And like I said, I think Safari and Scrappy reminds me totally of Ray J, and that is not something that they were prepared at this time in their life to give up. Do you know what I mean? With a new baby. So I see where the disconnect is in his marriage with Erica. So yeah, I could see where the disconnect is, where he didn't realize what he was getting himself into. Probably took on more than he was prepared to take on responsibility for as a married man. Showing us, I'm sorry about that, they're just showing young baby Tate shooting a music video, and that she's doing a virtual performance. So nothing much there, but it's good to see that they're actually showing music, because for the longest time, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, or quite frankly for all the hip hop Love and Hip Hop TV series, there wasn't any music component. It was just ratchet. So it's good to see that they're actually bringing music in it. And they showed us a glimpse of Sierra and BK going back and forth about their breakup. Nothing spectacular there. So the final scene for this introductory episode, we see Erica and Safari at home, clearly unhappy. You could tell that they're unhappy. You could see it in their faces. They're unhappy with each other. They're unhappy being around each other. Safari said that he won't stay married and be miserable. That's a comment that I wrote down here. He won't stay married. He doesn't want to stay married and be miserable. They both shared that they're sleeping in separate rooms. And this is only their first year of being married together. So they're actually not seeing each other, not spending time with each other. Separate rooms. Safari says that he's calm. He's calmer now that he's away from Erica. So I guess they're both toxic. He said Erica yells all the time, or she slams the door all the time. Erica stated that she feels neglected, that Safari won't help around the house, won't give her any break with the baby, won't take on any duties that's in the house. Safari says again, I think I mentioned it in the last segment, that he said Twitter's not real life. But you know what, Safari? You can't say Twitter's not real life. You're putting out personal information between yourself and your wife that should be private to your marital home, and you know what, that would drive anyone crazy, to be told that getting married was the worst thing that you could ever do. You're getting a divorce. Keep it off Twitter. If it's not real life, keep it off Twitter. Go see a counselor. Sit down with someone and you and Erica work it out. Talk about it there. If it's not real life, don't share it for everybody to know. Safari also expressed that he didn't want more kids before the second pregnancy. And you know what? I am okay with him saying that, because there's a lot of responsibility in having children. I've listed some of the examples above. And I think they both should have had a conversation again. Perhaps this is where counseling would have been helpful to both of them, that they should have had a conversation as to what their plans were. Was it going to be no more children for the next 5 years? What precautions were we going to take to ensure that it didn't happen? Was it no more kids, period, for the rest of the marriage? They should have had a discussion and had a meeting of the minds before the second child came along. But I also understand that, things happen and you're married. So there's always an oops baby, in the famous word of Wendy Williams, right? There's always an oops baby. Both of them seem as though they don't want to remain married, but Safari does give the impression that he absolutely doesn't want to be married. He doesn't want to be a part of the marriage. He doesn't want to be a part of the family. So this is devastating to both of them. Erica looks pregnant in the episode. I know they didn't say she was pregnant, but she does look as though she is pregnant in this first episode. So with that in mind and her being potentially pregnant, it's a lot to take on. It's a lot. So that's the review for the first episode. That's where we're at. We'll see what episode 2 holds. I'm going to try my best not to be biased towards Yandy and Mendices and towards Struggle Love, Kirk and Rashida. I'm going to try not to be biased and keep my opinions and what I think of those two couples for the moment. But I will see you in my next review, and please leave a comment and like and subscribe, and don't forget to share the video. Thank you. Bye now.